everybody, and welcome to our first YouTube Toy Lines podcast. I'm Tom Romero.
Me and Westliff.
How we doing, Ian? You excited? You pumped?
Hello there. As Obi-Wan says.
Hello, YouTube land.
Hello, nurse.
Hopefully you can welcome us. So today's episode is about vehicles. Yeah, that's right. I'm just going to jump right into it. So, we've been talking toys for a while, and, I also want to thank Scott Knightlick for getting us up and going on YouTube.
Thank you.
So, vehicles. Everyone's talking about play sets and, the environments you can interact them. But what about if you have to leave Castle Grayskull to go to Snake Mountain? You're going to need a Battle Ram, Talon Fighter. The Ghostbusters need Ecto 1. Michael Knight is nothing without Kit.
He's literally nothing without Kit. He has to walk.
Yeah, exactly.
And going nowhere.
And let's face it, Kit was always the brains of the
operating. They just watched the show for the car, basically.
Pretty much.
David Hasselhoff can act. But vehicles have depending on the toy line, there's so many. So it almost makes talking about maybe 5 each that much more difficult because there's so many in said toy line that you want to discuss. So it's just this is a topic that can be reviewed over and over again. So if whatever we pick, and it's not one of your favorites, listeners, or viewers, I should say now too, that doesn't mean we might not come back to get to that.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll do a second one.
Yeah, because you could spend 5 hours. You could spend at least 20 minutes or a good half hour just going over Star Wars vehicles, spaceships. Yeah. It's almost why bother because of the Razor Crest. That's what it comes down to. It's modern day Razor Crest.
Nope.
Done.
It's coming back. I'm telling you, it's coming back. So, all right, I know I'm jumping around. Sorry, folks. How was your New Year's?
Well, 3 days in today, as we do this, it is the 3rd. It is J.R.R. Tolkien's birthday, so that's pretty cool. Be 129. God bless him.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
That's 3 in Hobbit years,
something like that. The hobbits age differently than just like Grogu. So it's a pretty calm day. How about you? What's going on?
Nice. Well, I got my Cara Dune figure from #Collectors Helping Collectors.
Nice. Which version is this? The
Black Series.
Okay.
Yeah. She's gonna go right next to Mando, and they're awaiting their ship. Another vehicle that didn't make this episode.
You ordered yourself the Razor Crest?
It was a present.
Nice.
They said that it was supposed to. It's supposedly shipping this fall. And that falls right around my birthday. So my wife and, some of my family members got together.
Shipped in.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So, yeah. She told me at Christmas. So that was
cool.
Fun. Yeah. So, Collectors Helping Collectors. Finally got to see Cobra Kai. Still giving it a shot.
I came out on the 1st, season 3. I'm only 2 episodes in. I'm enjoying it. I know Tom's a little bit on the fence right now, but every show's not for everybody.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it the full series right now. I had some issues with it, but
it's not every show is for everybody. That's the thing, if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's
Yeah, I'm coming off my Luke Skywalker Mando high.
They did say though, I read briefly, Ralph Macchio said that they're prepared. They're ready for the show to go at least 6 seasons.
Wow. Okay.
So we're on season 3. It's in this filmed already, so you can binge it. So already 2 episodes in, I'm trying to figure out what could they possibly do more, and I guess they could bring in some more stuff from Karate Kid 3, and just revisit more things. It's interesting when they bring the characters back from the first 3 movies.
Yeah, I I don't know if I'm spoiling anything, but I'd like to see Elizabeth Shue.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if she's in it or not. I haven't gotten that far.
She did. She was on The Boys.
Yeah.
She looked great.
And then and then she can do Adventures of Babysitting, the sequel, and then because she was the babysitter in it.
Yeah, with the girl with the
Thor
fetish. Yeah,
I love that thing. Actually, the guy who played Thor, I think his name is Vincent D'Onofrio. He's the same guy from Full Metal Jacket who played Piles.
Oh yeah, the Kingpin on Daredevil.
Yeah, and that came out the same year. So
D'Onofrio.
Yes. So if you look at Adventures of Babysitting, he's a very slim, muscular guy. He played a great Thor. And then when you look at Piles from Full Metal Jacket, I don't know which movie was first, but very talented actor and great lines in that movie, which I can't repeat, because we also talk about Fisher Price toys. So I don't
yeah. Well, Full Metal Jacket, that was a great
movie. Well,
movie.
no, it's actually from Adventures of Babysitting. One of the lines
that's right.
that the brother says, but if you've seen the movie, you know it. So vehicles.
Yeah.
What do you got, Tom? These
let's get to
these your 5 favorite or your 5 least or a little bit of everything?
It's a little bit of everything, just to mix it up a little. But I am going to start with my favorite Masters of the Universe vehicle, and that is the Attack Track. I love this thing when it was released.
Is that the Battle Ram just with treads?
No, Battle Rams. Battle Ram's like a
sled or a part of it.
Battle Ram, right? On the Battle Ram, the front part turns into the Sky Sled.
Right. Is that the Sky Sled?
No, this is the Attack Track.
No, I know that. But did they take that mold and use it for this?
No, this was released in 1983 as part of the Masters of the Universe collection, and it was designed by Ted Mayer, who was part of the Masters team at the time. And it's funny that you say that because Ted was also involved in the creation of the Battle Ram.
Maybe that's why I just see Battle Ram in it. But maybe it's because the same guy worked on it.
Possibly, but here's the interesting thing. It started off as a submission from an outside vendor. Some people are claiming that it could have been Marvin Glass and Associates, who was responsible for creating Cops and Crooks for Hasbro.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't really know exactly where it came from, but Ted Mayer took it and he added the wheels and some other certain right. Now the original design had a canopy on it, and if you're a hardcore fan, you can actually see the canopy in the monogram model kits that they made. So
it's interesting to think that like a toy, you would think that'd have like paperwork and all these things, but there's like a little bit of mystery to this. It's kind of cool.
On some of them, yeah. I'll be honest with you, if you're curious to go further in depth on the vehicle's creation, Battle Ram Blog, who's on the HeMan community, huge researcher. I mean, you should check it out if you're interested in this. But he's got interviews, he's got the goods on everything. Like I said, HeMan doesn't have that many secrets anymore. I mean, everything's out. So, believe it or not, this retailed for $14.88 when it first came out. Battery operated, so it moves by itself. Now, I don't know if you can see it on. It has a rubber band in the back.
Yeah,
I remember. Right. I thought that was the coolest idea. I mean, this thing, it would go up mountains or it would go up couches. It would, slide down and, always get HeMan to safety. I just love this thing. For some reason, I find it more appealing than the Battle Ram.
That's interesting.
Well, only because I'm telling you, those wheels, I don't know what it is about them, but I think this Attack Track can go places the Battle Ram can't. Now, I could be wrong. You can fight me on this, but in my opinion, that's what it is. Now, Here's the interesting thing. Those wheels, they possibly have gotten from the big gym line.
Probably. They probably just, repurpose,
Yeah, they always were doing stuff like that.
So you're talking about the wheels inside the tread or the tread itself?
The actual wheel.
Okay.
The
Because it looks like
one
there's
that flips around.
one wheel, and that goes, and then the tread flips over and over and over is what it looks like to me.
Right.
If I remember this toy correctly.
And you can have fun with it too. I know I did, because there was times where I would have all the wheels in unison, so they all flipped at the same time. Then, if I felt goofy, I would slide one and have them overlap each other,
Kind of like
and
he had
stuff.
like a boot on his tire.
Exactly. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. Great color. I'll be honest with you, I still wish I had it. It got purged in
The Great Purge of '88.
when I left home. So.
I gotta say, and no offense to you, I'm gonna dig the battle ram more.
Yeah, a lot of people do. I mean, Filmation had their own version of the attack track. It was this giant, massive thing. It kept the wheels. And then this version only made it to one episode of the Filmation titled Evil Seed.
So did they ever create the other version of from Filmation, or no? Just this
No, just this one in
just this
toy form. Right.
Okay.
Although Joe Amato, rumor has it, he 3D printed a Filmation version.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, there's pictures of it.
Apologize for the dog barking, folks. So what's up next?
Your call.
Can we go to let's go to my hero, Indiana Jones. The Desert Convoy truck. This toy line didn't really have many vehicles. It's the only vehicle, really. I mean, other than the horse, if you want to count that. And this is from the great scene in the movie where Indy's chasing it down on horseback. The Ark of the Covenant's in the back, and he jumps through the door, gets thrown through the windshield, underneath the truck, back through. Just one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I remember getting this. I was at Toys R Us with my dad, and just happened to find it. And my dad actually thought it was cool. He just likes trucks and stuff like that, so he thought it was cool because it looked like, I guess, one of their actual trucks from that time period. But this is a really great toy. I believe that the canopy, or whatever you want to call that, canvas back came off, and then there was like these little benches, and this is just a great toy. These things are worth a lot of money nowadays, just because a lot of the Raiders toys were most likely played with. So finding one in a box or in complete condition is pretty tough, but this is definitely a great toy. A lot of great memories with this one.
Very nice. Now, how many figures could you hold in the back?
You could put, the Ark would fit. I'm gonna say, I'll play it safe and say 3 on each bench. But that's also with the way the Kenner figures' legs bent. It wasn't like they were straight out in front of them, so they were kind of like more on an angle, if I remember correctly. So because they bent at the knees, but it wasn't like a straight bend. Like as a human being, you can sit with your knees bent in front of you. It's kind of like they had their legs more spread out a little. So that's kind of like how they would sit. But you can get it probably about three to a bench, so about 6.
Nice.
Yeah, and then two in the cab, and then Indiana Jones underneath. So about 9 in all.
You ever try that, putting them underneath? Is there a place for them?
I'm sure I did. I don't think there was like a specific thing made for him, and even in the movie, they had to dig out a sort of a trench for him to be dragged under. Nice. And in the movie itself, whatever the speed they were going at was, if I say 40 miles per hour, it's faster than it was. You know, they didn't go. It looked faster in the movie than it actually was.
Mhm.
Ford did not actually get dragged underneath the truck. There was a stuntman, of course, but he is. When they show that front shot of him, he is being dragged behind the truck on the whip. I believe the Ford and the stuntman had on like 6 pairs of pants and like two jackets just for that scene alone, because you know you're being pulled underneath and dirt and rocks and all this stuff. You know, it was a hell of a scene, and it was inspired by I think a Zorro movie where he kind of like went underneath a stagecoach, which is even, of course, more dangerous. So this scene, I just, this is one of my favorite scenes in the movie when he's chasing down that truck. I just like have to watch it.
So solid wheels, plastic wheels.
Plastic wheels, they spun.
What year
I
do
don't.
you think it came out?
This one, this came out the same year as the movie.
Oh, okay.
And then they reissued it with when the toy line got relaunched with the last movie. The box itself for the original was your basic box. The box, when they reissued it, actually was a better looking box because it had a picture of him, Indiana Jones, jumping off the kind of like jumping from horse to truck. And it just had that action scene in it,
Oh, cool.
you know, which is like, oh, yeah, that's awesome. And actually, I had the Arabian horse, which is the type of horse that I rode. That was sold separately, the horse. There was like a little button you would squeeze and it would kick his legs, so it looked like he was running.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a cool toy. I remember my aunt got me that.
Very
So
nice.
regular stock didn't have a lot of toys, but I think it was a great toy line. You know, if they were going to put out another vehicle, they could have maybe put out the plane that, you know, the big plane where he fights.
Mhm.
That would have been pretty cool. But I mean, you didn't really need a lot of vehicles. That wasn't really part of the movie. They kind of just put out what was in the movie and that was it. But still a great toy line. One of my favorites.
Nice.
Yeah.
So here's what's up next. The Rhino. We can't talk about vehicles without a whole toy line dedicated to vehicles and guys that put helmets on.
That's right.
So
Mask.
here's Mask, Mobile Armored Strike Command. And here's one of my favorites, the Rhino.
And then what? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Like,
Go on.
I remember watching this cartoon. I love the theme song. This truck, I didn't know it was called the Rhino. For some reason, I'm thinking Goliath, but it's so
Yeah,
cool
from
looking.
Knight Rider.
Yeah, exactly. Why did they wear helmets?
Their helmets had special powers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I remember one helmet can create like holograms. Another helmet was like a like a dart helmet. You could like flash your enemy and then take off. Yeah.
Yeah. I think this one right here is the coolest one. The truck.
Yes. This was my favorite. And you know what? Here's a quick story. So the year 1985 it came out. My parents took us, my sister and I went to Toys R Us. And it was so funny too, because we kind of figured out what my parents were doing, because my mom's like, I have to go do something. You hang out with your dad. And so she disappeared. And my dad kept grilling us. He's like, hey, you like this? And I'm like, yeah, it's all right. Okay, all right. How about this? Yeah, that's great. Is that going on your Christmas list? Yeah. Don't you know? He's like, okay. So he would turn the box around, and then we'd go to a different aisle, and then my mom would follow us in a cart, see that the box was turned, and then she'd grab it, throw it in the cart.
Nice. The little teamwork there.
Yeah.
Very nice. That's very smart.
So that's my Rhino story.
Very nice.
But I mean, Mask was a fantastic toy line. So Rhino in particular was a great vehicle. It also doubled for me anyway as a base, because the sleeper part of, all right, so let's start over. It's actually a 1985 Kenilworth tractor. And, we can see him on the road to this day.
Sure.
Now it came with leader Matt Tracker and Bruce Soto, excuse me. So, I mean, this thing was a tank on regular wheels. They hit it very well. there's actually a rocket launcher in the sleeper. The fifth wheel pops out and becomes its own vehicle.
Where's the fifth wheel?
It's
on the back, right?
Correct. It's the four wheels in the back. So what it happened was, it's kind of like the Batmobile from Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
That same concept. You know how?
Okay, yeah.
The front two wheels are the Bat bike. Same kind of concept. So you would pull out the fifth wheel, and then the front of the fifth wheel would only have a single wheel on each side, but it would keep the doubles in the rear.
The fifth wheel, it sounds like the third wheel. The third wheel when you go out with somebody.
Yeah.
So two
and then
sorry.
It would have guns in the front, and then the smokestacks would turn into guns, and then the front grill would actually pop out as a ram.
You can actually see there's a tiny space there.
Right.
Where it looks like it would pop out.
Right.
Very cool.
Yeah. Unfortunately, mine got consumed. But here's one of the cool things I loved about Mask. Those are Goodyear tires. Those are actual rubber tires.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the detail on this, I'll put it to you this way. It's no wonder I like trucks just from playing with this all day.
And the size of it's really good too. It's not like a.
Oh my God, it was perfect.
It's a pretty big toy.
Yeah.
It's almost like a Tonka truck.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a Tonka truck with benefits.
Yeah, this thing just.
You got stuff popping out. You can, like, the side of it comes down into a staircase.
This is the kind of truck you want in a convoy.
Oh yeah, especially
so like Smoking the Bandit.
Right.
The Bandit needed somebody to, cover him. He really needed this instead of the Snowman. That's what I'm thinking. If anybody knows their 80s.
So back in '85, retailed for $27.99. Now I've seen a couple on eBay. The chrome parts are the only parts that didn't do well with age, at least for the ones I've seen.
Is it actual chrome or is it like a sticker kind of thing?
No, it's actual chrome. Well, it's probably that
chrome-like, plasticky, flake off after a while.
Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. This is a toy show. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yes, vac metal. Thank you. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, actually, I don't even think it was vac metal. I think it was actual chrome. I'll look into that. But yeah, the chrome parts didn't do well with age.
What happened? They turned colors. They just
started chipping.
That's what I had a feeling.
Maybe it was vac metal. Actually, here's a better shot. There we go. Nice. Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. So
the only thing it's not doing is the battle ram extension.
Right. Definitely cool.
But yeah, I mean, you don't even need Boulder Mountain. I mean, this served as my Mask headquarters for a long time.
Very cool.
Yeah. But see, here's the problem now. Like, I would love to see this toy line come back, but because of, plastic and molds and stuff, I mean, literally this thing would have to be crowdfunded in today's
day. And you know what? If you're bringing this thing back, make it light up and sounds.
Oh shoot! Now you're
like a Hess truck.
Now you're in the $1,000 market.
Or like the Razor Crest price. But I mean, can you imagine this thing with like headlights and air horns and the little.
It'd be awesome.
Oh, dude!
Every kid would want this.
I would want it now.
Exactly. Every collector, every child. I mean,
yeah.
I would love to see this line come back, but I'm not holding my breath just because of the amount, the price on it.
What was it, Kenner or Mattel?
It was Kenner.
All right. Kenner did some good stuff, I tell you.
Kenner did some amazing stuff. I don't know how they got purchased, but I do, but that's
no. Well, didn't they buy Tonka?
They bought some companies,
and then Hasbro bought them. This whole buying thing. I don't know.
No.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to G.I. Joe.
A real American hero.
He is. He is there. Ed, a little known fact, real quick about the song. If you listen to the theme song, the person who, the voice singing the song, so not the narrator who says what G.I. Joe is, the narrator is Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs.
Is it really?
Yes, it is.
That's awesome.
He was actually, the way he got into becoming an actor and to get into the union was he could sing opera. First he sang barbershop quartet, but he could also sing opera, and he sang that song. He's like the coolest guy too. I love that guy. But yeah, so there's your G.I. Joe history. So this is the Hydrofoil. This is Cobra's version of, or Cobra's attempt to retaliate with the G.I. Joe hovercraft. I had this for Christmas. This is a pretty sweet toy. I do remember trying to put some of these things on. It was a pain. But there were these like little, they look like a landing gear, basically, that it kind of stand on. And the front, kind of like a hood would pop up. Those little, looks like eye slits. Mm-hmm. Those were for Cobra agents to go under. And I used to take them off so I could fit more people in. And then, of course, you have somebody in a Top Gun. You got somebody in the back. You got somebody in the seats. But this is a pretty cool toy. I remember getting it for Christmas one year. And I remember actually we had to leave to go to my grandparents' house, and I was like annoyed because I was trying to finish putting this thing together. But it was a pretty sweet ride. And I think when that, you can see on the, I don't know how any nautical terms here, so I'm just going to call that the hood of this thing. I believe that popped up and had rockets in it, if I remember correctly. But this was a really cool toy, and you kind of go back and forth as to which was cooler, this or the hovercraft. This is much sleeker looking than the G.I. Joe hovercraft, but it definitely
this probably could go in places the hovercraft couldn't.
Yeah, and I just kind of feel like with a hovercraft, you pop that balloon it's riding on, and it's gonna sink, you know. But yeah, this is a cool one.
Very nice. I remember one time we were on a boat, actually. My wife comes up to me and she's like, I bet you don't know what starboard and port means.
Yeah, okay.
So I look at her, dead serious, because I was playing Star Trek RPG at the time. So I showed her where starboard was, I showed her where port was. Actually, I just confused those. And I'm like, Mary, I'm a starship captain. I better know what port and starboard means. So,
which one is left and which one's right?
Starboard, I believe, is right, and port is left.
So why don't they just say left and right? I never understood that. Like, why?
I think it's because of a circular. Because it's
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never knew which one it was.
Sure. I think I just remember. I think it just messed up. Let me see. Yeah, figure it out later. If I'm wrong, folks, please email us at toyspodcast@gmail.com. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. If I should turn in
your nautical license.
My Star Trek pibs.
Yes, dare you.
So we're talking about
vehicles.
No. All right, I'm gonna go to somewhere else. Sorry, folks. This is our first YouTube show, so
first one.
Where is it?
Do I want to just do another one while you search yours?
Yeah.
Throw up the Dragonfly.
Let's
finish off G.I. Joe.
Gotcha. Dragonflies.
So, G.I. Joe, of course, had so many vehicles, boats, planes. I don't know if they had a train or not. But the Dragonfly was a helicopter that came with pilot Wild Bill, little cowboy hat.
That's the only thing they didn't have was a train.
Right? I mean, they had like everything else. They had like rickshaws.
Space shuttle.
They had a space shuttle. And they had other helicopters, but I always felt that this one was just the coolest looking. And when you really think about the other one, like the Tomahawk or the other G.I. Joes, this is small in comparison to them, but it's just so cool looking. And it's got the, I never had this. My neighbor did. And I just thought it was the coolest looking toy that he had.
And it came with Wild Bill too, right?
Yeah, well, Wild Bill, he had the cowboy hat, and I think he had a mustache, and like just it was have like a grappling hook underneath. It looks like. This was a sweet toy, and it was pretty big for its time, and just it's an appropriate name for a helicopter, which I believe I think, and you can I'm possibly incorrect about this, but there's something about helicopters related to dragonflies about how they fly, and there's something there. For I don't know 100%. I did not do my homework before this episode. I'll be honest. But I love the sticker on it. It's kind of got that cool nose art going, and it's just a really sweet toy. I think it might have had a rotor on the back end of it, but I don't remember. It looks like there would be one there in this picture. But this was a great toy.
Did you have it as a kid?
I didn't. No, my neighbor did, and I did want it. I did get the Tomahawk, which I believe is that like sand camouflage one, which was much larger. So it's kind of like the Clone Trooper transport in Clone Wars. Kind of look like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but this one still I think is really, really cool. I love flying, and I've been in a helicopter twice, and it's such a different type of flying compared to like a plane.
Definitely.
So yeah, this is definitely cool.
All right, so now I'm caught up, folks. Sorry, you know.
Nice, no problem.
Later. So we can't talk about vehicles without breaking that fourth wall with this next one. Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future Powerjet XT7. This was mind-blowing to young Tommy. I was like, I can actually take something and I can play with it on the TV.
Young Tommy.
Now, granted, Captain Power had dealt with a lot of adult themes, okay? But you can look all past that as long as you got the Powerjet XT7 and you're shooting at glowing robots.
So those white, I don't know what to call them up top there. Is that where the laser would fire from?
Yes.
At the TV?
Correct.
Did it light up at all?
The right one would light up and it'd make that beep, 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 beep sound.
Okay.
It made beeps, but it also made like an electric, almost gunnery laser type sound.
Well, how many beeps are we talking, Tom?
Well, it depends.
We got to show that we know what we're talking about.
It depends on how good of a shot you are.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you would shoot it, and if you hit a robot, it would let you know. If a robot hit you, it would let you know. Now, here's the only thing that if you're a bad shot and you got killed a lot, so the front of the cockpit, usually you would have your character, in my case, Captain Power. Now, I forgot how many times you need to get hit. I believe it was 3. If you get hit 3 times, the cockpit opens up and ejects your figure.
Oh, it did.
Yeah. Game over.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah. Now, if you wanted to train, here's another cool thing that I loved about Captain Power, because you only get a half-hour TV show. So if you wanted to train, Captain Power also came, or not in this version, but actually not in that box, came with cassettes, VHS cassettes, that you can see animated show.
Training, it's like a training video.
Right, helping Captain Power.
Okay, so Captain Power
were a lot, in my opinion, they were geared more for kids than the actual TV show. Because you were shooting everything on those training videos, whereas on the TV show, okay, it's time for a dialogue scene. So, you just sit there patiently trying to get the story.
Come on.
Then, exactly. And then you're like, oh, fight, let's go. The training videos, you would shoot everything.
And this was an animated show? I never watched it, so I don't know.
It was actually very good animation at the time.
How ahead of its time was this toy when you think about it?
I mean, I would love to see some more interaction.
Because is there a toy like that today?
Well, everything. I mean,
Everything, you sort of interact with your TV and, well, interact with everything now.
right.
But, like,
or on your iPhone. And
yeah, but like where you have a toy, like, I'm not talking like Duck Hunt where you're playing a video game, but like if you were watching a TV show and this toy is part, you need this toy to interact with the show. Like, this is ahead of its time for then.
yes and no, because there was something similar prior to this that Mattel was working on.
Oh, okay.
And then I guess when Mattel started wanting to go into doing their own shows, right, production, then they're like, hey, we could use this same concept.
Well, who made this toy?
This was Mattel.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So it retailed for $32.99, and I mean, it was just great. Everything. I know a lot of people harp on it because it could interact with other, like you can have a fight with the villain's jet.
Sort of like laser tag.
Exactly.
That's cool.
And then Captain Power also came with, in his line, something where, okay, so on the TV show, he goes into this like machine and it gives him his armor. They made a toy of that. So you can, there's, lots of playability, very toyetic in my opinion.
Besides being ejected from the cockpit, when you would get hit, did it like shake in your hands? Did it like flash or beep or something?
Yeah. You knew when you got hit.
Right. That's pretty cool though, because like, especially when you're playing with your friend and you're running around trying to get each other, there's no like, saying, I got you. And if you didn't, because the thing would beep and, let you know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And actually, folks, I did our first retro toy review of this certain jet because I found one in my basement. I don't know how it survived, but it was in excellent shape. I didn't really have to clean it up that much or anything. Cool. I put in batteries. Everything still worked.
Batteries? Wow. So you weren't one of the ones who left the batteries in and they leaked and...
No, I was so like,
you know what? That should be an episode of like how to clean out battery acid from a toy.
Yeah.
How many Millennium Falcons were destroyed because of that?
It's funny because there is a vehicle you're going to discuss, and I did exactly that. That was the vehicle I learned from. Wow. So ever since then, I was just strict. I was like, all right, I'm not playing. Batteries out.
Oh, smart. You see the power of the batteries.
Yeah. Now, here's the sad part about this. With all the 4K technology, the LCDs and stuff, can't use it on a normal TV.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Or, I shouldn't say normal TV.
Modern day TV.
Modern day TV.
Because it's all like...
Well, the way I understand it is the megahertz, the flash rate that you see is way too fast for the signal.
On which end? Which is too fast, TV or toy?
The TV.
Interesting. So you would have to keep your old TV in order to use this.
Exactly. So or you could, find out like a Goodwill or something.
Yeah. You would have to actually have like a...
And it can't be in black and white either.
It has to be a color TV.
It has to be a color TV.
Really narrowing it down there, Tom.
Yeah, well, I did a lot of research because I found one of the cassettes, and I just watched it just for the animation. It reminded me of Transformers the movie. That's how good the animation was.
Do you have this now with you out at West Coast, or is this still at your house, your parents' house?
No, it's still in Jersey.
Still in Jersey?
Yeah.
Just waiting.
But again, folks, if you're interested in a retro toy review, www.toy-lines.com. Just go to our toy reviews and you can see everything. Every angle, what it does. I even threw in Captain Power just for fun.
Nice. Let's talk about Knight Rider.
Yes. Now, before you begin,
Yes.
this was the toy that I left the battery in.
Oh, Tommy.
Yeah. It's so funny too, because so you hit the license plate to have Kit talk.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so. If you're into horror, you should do that because Kit's like 2000. I was like, it's dead. So
this toy I never had, but my friend did as a kid, and two of my friends did actually. Rich did, and this is back then this was one of the coolest toys. The little red light in the front lit up, if I remember correctly, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong if you remember, Tom.
It was reflective.
Reflective, okay. Yeah. So like you said, you hit the license plate. It's if you were a fan of the show, you wanted this toy. I think my biggest complaint about this toy line is that this was all that there was. I felt they should have made Car, which was like just an evil version. Yeah, it was just an evil version. I believe he was voiced by Paul Frees. Oh, Peter Cullen. Okay, and then there was Goliath, which was a truck. I think that was Paul Frees. What's that?
Okay, yeah.
Oh yeah. So like, not only did they have Kid have to face like his evil twin brother, they had to face like this giant truck. And those were cool episodes. I remember watching the show with my brother and sister. And just Kit was the coolest thing. Turbo boost and
the toy itself was awesome.
It's just
like I said, you can hit the license plate. Kit would talk. I think he had like 3 or 4 phrases.
A couple of phrases, yeah.
Right. And now here's what upset me. And they're still doing it even with our Razor Crest now. So there's an episode where I think it was with Goliath. You remember the episode where Kit actually falls into a vat of acid?
No. But yeah. Okay.
That was, as I like to call it, the first death of Kit.
Okay.
And then next season comes out and the spoiler pops up. He's got like wings on.
Well, they had to fix him, yeah.
Right. But now I'm like, well, where's my upgrade?
Oh, yeah.
You know
what the thing I remember is they'd even sell the truck that when they were on the road that Kit would drive into.
Yeah.
And the mechanic it was always a girl. It was Bonnie or April.
Right.
And they didn't give it an upgrade. And the only thing I could say redeeming of this is a cool toy.
Definitely. I'm not.
It probably sounds like I am, but
the TV show kind of like jinxed it for me.
Yeah, if you had the Kenner Ecto 1, those figures were the same size as Michael Knight, and they could fit in there and vice versa. Right there, folks. So like that was kind of cool. So at least you had something if you had both and you could play back and forth, or say like your older brother or sister or somebody did.
I actually used my masked Rhino
as Goliath.
As Goliath to run over Kit.
There is no end to the imagination.
Yeah. There's no wrong way to play.
No, there really isn't. Yeah, so this is a pretty cool toy. I never had it, but I did like it.
It was fun. Yeah, especially again, that's what makes the Captain Power so amusing because all right, you can follow along with Kit and Michael on their adventures, but you really couldn't interact with them.
Exactly.
You would let's face it, you would just mimic it, or if there was an improvement, you'd do that.
And you would just do turbo boost 1,000 times when you played with this thing. Just because you always wished your own car had that later on in life. Like, remember they showed Knight Rider? Don't you wish you had turbo boost right now?
Or the Dukes of Hazzard.
They jumped like everything.
Yeah, their shocks.
Yeah, that car should have been destroyed like 1,000,000 times.
I can only imagine.
But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, because I mean, it was I'll put it to you this way: it was a sad day when reality kicked in, because I kept going, with the truck, and my dad's looking at me like he's like, "You really think those tires are gonna?" Not to mention the rest of the body work that needs to be done.
Dad.
I was like, "Yeah, on TV." He's like, "No." TV MOTU. I was like, what? That TV?
You know what's funny? When you go back and watch those shows and you watch how those cars land,
Mm-hmm.
and then as a kid, you don't think of these things, but when you watch how they land and you see how the tires or something hits the ground.
Nowadays you look for it.
Yeah, and then it's like they cut to another angle and the car's completely fine. And,
Yeah.
like Bo or Luke Duke didn't like bang their head on the windshield or anything. Good Lord.
Now, we're going back in the area
Okay.
with my favorite air vehicle from the Masters of the Universe collection. If you're a fan of the Wind Raider, you're not going to like what I'm about to say.
Probably not. I have a question for you.
Sure.
What's Point Dread?
So Point Dread is the base or the perch
okay.
for the Talon Fighter. You can attach it onto Castle Grayskull, and then you would just have it land right into these pegs.
Got you. Point Dread is a cool name. They should have saved that for something else.
For years, well, here's how dumb I am. For years, I actually thought the Talon Fighter was named Point Dread.
That's what I would think, because it's right there in bold and,
Exactly.
It should be the other way around, But, okay, come on.
So here's an interesting thing. On the Filmation Guide, Point Dread was actually supposed to be a base for Skeletor.
That makes more sense with the name.
You're right. But it got dropped when they realized they wanted to create something to go along with Castle Grayskull. They wanted to sell more Grayskulls.
That's a smart idea.
So the idea for the Talon Fighter originated from a drawing of the original Eternia playset. At the time, it was called Mount Eternia. Now, if you look at it, the only thing that it really resembles was the beak. Everything else was different. So I'm thinking they took the beak and then they looked at the Big Jim line once again, because Big Jim had. So picture the cockpit and part of the front without the
hawk.
Right, the hawk face. That was basically the Big Jim Super Space Spy. It even had the handle in the back.
Yeah, because you know what? When you look at it, it's quite boxy looking, and it almost looks like it doesn't, like they took two toys and put it together, two different toys and put it together.
That's basically
what they did.
Yeah.
But, it came off pretty well for what they did, and if you didn't know anything like what you just said, you would have just thought this is the way they built the toy.
Right. So it can hold two figures. Canopy would come up and down, hold two figures, and it had a handle in the back where you could fly without grabbing onto the talons. Now, I was always ambivalent about the handle because, yeah, it's cool. You're holding it without actually holding it. But at the same time, it's you're holding it. Like when you set it down on the perch or on Point Dread, that handle would be right there. So that it was weird to say, but that always kind of bugged me.
Did they ever remake this toy?
I'm about to get to that.
Oh, sorry.
So this came out in 1982 and retailed for $12.97.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Now,
$30 toy right there.
Well, we're about to get to that in 1 second. So, here is the Classics version.
Classics as in?
Masters of the Universe Classics.
Not vintage. Okay.
Not vintage. No, this is way too big for vintage.
Oh, yeah, the wings look bigger, too. Or longer.
Right. Now, super detailed. Here, hold on. Super detailed, incredible sculpt by the Four Horsemen. I mean, it's a thing of beauty. I'm so glad they actually got to this because they didn't get to Attack Track, which I'm very disappointed about. But the Four Horsemen did an exceptional job on the sculpting. I mean, you can actually see the guns now. Underneath has these vents to land it. No handle. Now, here's what I'm thinking. Do I need a handle? Or did I get the Talon Fighter that I want? I'm still trying to figure that out because that handle had its plus and minuses.
What if the handle was detachable?
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
But I don't think it was possible because when they made Castle Grayskull, they ran into the same problem. There's an actual handle on Grayskull, on the classics version of Grayskull, that you can slide your hand and carry it. Now, here's the thing. Because of child labor laws, or, nope, said that wrong. Because of child safety laws, you can only put in the handle once, and then it's a really hard time to take it back out.
That's what your parents are for when you're a kid, though.
Right, but I guess with classics, they had to abide by those rules too,
Okay.
because it was a toy.
Every time you say classics, I think vintage for some reason. I think it's just the name throws me off. I think of the original toy.
Exactly. So here is also something that's part of the Talon Fighter. These were the monogram model kits that were created based on the original drawings of said vehicles. So this was so this was the original Talon Fighter.
And it doesn't have a radar dish. It has a gun on top.
Right. This one looks more bird-like.
Definitely. Even because like the talons have little feathers on the legs.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean it's a pretty cool piece of
Definitely.
And with this one, I don't know if the canopy opens or not, but it looks like you can put one character at least inside.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool looking model.
Yeah. I mean, Masters of the Universe came out with some amazing vehicles. We'll get to some of them on our next one. I mean, I'm still hoping for an attack track. Right now, they came out with Classics Roton, which was something for Skeletor.
Mm-hmm.
So,
let's talk about the Superpowers Batmobile.
Let's see here. Okay.
This is actually one of the cooler looking Batmobiles I've always felt.
You know what? Could you do me a favor?
I could.
Let's talk about
speeder bike.
The speeder bike.
Sure. So the Kenner speeder bike from Return of the Jedi. I think this is the more modern one.
Yes.
That's fine. Because it had the same functions, I believe, as the one from when I was a kid. What I loved about this toy was that little pack back there, little rucksack back there, and you would hit that, at least on the old one, the thing would explode, and it would send your stormtrooper flying. And there was only like 3 pieces you had to put together.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just the speeder bikes. I love those. I love them so much. They're so much cooler than those stupid swoop bikes that they invented later on, and they're just cool looking. And that whole scene in Return of the Jedi was just incredible. And what's great is that it was actors on a prop speeder bike, and then it was done with stop motion. And just I could remember being a kid riding my bike and thinking I was on one of these. And I remember getting this for Christmas one year and just putting Luke or Han or Stormtrooper on and just flying up, having crash into someone who's flying off, and it's just a wicked looking toy. And when you see it in The Mandalorian too, a meaning as well, it was just so cool to see them with the speeder bike and how they I remember in the show, the one guy kind of went off the cliff and he kind of just he was riding this thing like a dirt bike. It was just so cool. So I was happy to see it brought back, and it's just a really cool looking toy. It's just, it's simple, it's sleek, and it has that great function of if you want your guy to take a tumble, you just hit that sack and he goes flying.
Nice.
Yeah, that's all I need to say. It was cool.
Awesome. Let's hit the news.
All right.
Yeah, we don't have any special song, or we're just going to say news. So, Tweeterhead has revealed their next life-size bust, and it is of Skeletor from the Masters of the Universe collection.
What was the first one?
I believe it was
HeMan?
She-Ra.
Oh, okay. This
Yeah.
is really cool looking.
This one, I'm holding out for hope because I'll be honest with you, the tweeter head. I'm sorry if I'm insulting you, but for some reason they just seemed off to me. Like I saw that She-Ra one, and I'm just like, yeah, that's something's off on it. And then, I'm looking at this Skeletor one. Now, Skeletor has a unique visage. They can actually do some pretty cool stuff with this.
Well, yeah, and it's not like you need to make him beautiful.
Right. No, what I always loved? My favorite Skeletor is the 2000X Skeletor with the hood actually covering over his head.
Majority, yeah. What I like about this concept art is how the jaw is. There's like these high cheekbones. Mm-hmm. You got the, for lack of a better term, the mandible or the hinge of the bottom jaw going into the chin, but you can see his teeth going back, kind of like an alien from Aliens. That face design is just excellent, and just the way his skull forms eyebrows. It's really, you could tell this is a look of death on a skeleton.
Right.
So this is just a concept art, but yeah.
Right. I mean, the execution, let's hope it's something good.
Looks just like it. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. So, New Year's 2021, guess what?
What?
HeMan and the Masters of the Universe Origins collection is no longer exclusive. You can buy him anywhere now. I remember, 2 minutes after midnight on the West Coast, I was hitting up Amazon. I was hitting up all these stores because I did want to get a Ram Man. I ordered that and a Zodak. And, we'll get into those reasons later.
How much do these retail for?
$14.99.
It's a pretty decent price. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny too because the originals. Guess how much a vintage He-Man figure was back in 1983?
I'm gonna say 12, but I think it's 10.
$4.99.
Oh my lord! Really?
For an action figure. Granted, it doesn't have the articulation and all the modern stuff, but $4.99.
It's like a Star Wars figure price. I figured I would at least $6. For their size, but it's pretty. It's a good price.
And I also found out that there is also going to be a deluxe Hordak and a deluxe Mosquitor figure coming out. So I'm excited for that. I've yet to see the Mosquitor. I saw the Hordak one. It's okay. It falls into the Origins line. But this is our first YouTube channel, so I'm going to just put it out there. I cannot wait for Masterverse. So Mattel, if you're listening, make it happen faster.
Chop, chop, as you say.
So, you're a big Super 7 guy.
I am. I do.
Guess what? Reaction figures from Mars Attacks.
Yes, these are, they're, the way that guy's melting is hilarious. I feel sorry for the dog.
Yeah, the dog was a little off, but I get why they did it.
Yeah, it's like, poor little doggy. The figures look great, especially the
figures
Martians.
Look amazing.
Yeah,
I'm not a big reaction guy, but this I might pick up. These are actually interesting.
They almost look like they were made for it.
Yeah, exactly.
The way their suits they just fit this design very well.
Yep. So you have Invasion, Burning Flesh, and Destroying Dog. And they will each retail for $18. And you can pick them up at super7.com or super7store.com.
And it's a pretty good description of them.
Yeah. I mean, so Takara Tomy also released. I don't know if I got this in time. I don't have visual, folks. So Takara Tomy, for those of you that follow the Masterpiece Transformers, Skids is coming out soon this year. They've only showed a pencil drawing of it, but he is supposed to come out in 2021. So for you Transformer fans, enjoy. And our buddy Blake Wright, author of Toys That Time Forgot, has announced his Kickstarter will begin on February 10th, and it will be for Volume 3 of Toys That Time Forgot.
Very cool.
Now, folks, if you haven't seen Volumes 1 or 2, and you probably have if you're watching us, but do yourself a favor, find these books. I mean, the stuff they have is so incredible. He's got Cull. He's got, unproduced Star Wars figures. He's got History of Ninja Turtles from Playmates. I mean, these are tomes that every toy collector has to have. So hopefully we can get Blake back here soon, and
Definitely.
we can talk, talk
toys.
Hidden gems. Okay, Ian. Now, I'm doing this because I'm a huge fan of the Horsemen, and I love what they've done with Mythic Legions. Okay. And in particular with this series,
the Moose.
The Moose!
There he is.
Folks, you have until January 8th to order your own Moose. I mean, look at this thing. It's incredible.
Beautiful antlers.
The whole thing is beautiful.
You can really see the sculpt, like the design, the muscles, even like some of the fur looks like. It's just a really nice looking toy.
It is. I mean, you could put this thing anywhere and it would fit.
And yeah, any toy line. Lord of the Rings.
That's what I'm talking about. Anywhere, put a brook next to him and, pretend he's drinking. Or,
do you know what? Mitchell Wu could probably make a great photo out of this.
Oh, easily.
Yeah. Very cool.
I mean, look at those eyes. I mean, I'll put it to you this way, folks. If we're this much excited for a moose, could you imagine what the rest of the Ilithia, the Ilithia line consists of? I mean, you have hunters, you have bats. I mean, you have until January 8th. So log on to Store Horseman right now. Look them up, 4 Horsemen Toy Design, and you want to check out these figures. You have until January 8th of this year before they shut it down. So our friends at NECA recently sent me an email.
Nice.
Concerning Casey Jones, Disguised Raphael 2-pack, and the Metalhead. So the pre-orders for these 3, including Super Shredder, will ship after the Toka and Razar through mid-January. Slash and Leatherhead will start shipping in February. The 1990 accessory pack that you bought from NECA or ordered from NECA will be shipping in the first quarter of this year, along with the cartoon diorama. Rocksteady and Bebop 2-pack will be shipping in the second quarter.
Is this Casey? Is this the one where the mask comes off and it actually is the actor? Or
yeah, possibly. Well, I've seen some people take the mask off and say it looks like Eliza Codius.
Cool.
But we're supposed to get another Casey probably after April. Not the month April. April O'Neil.
April O'Neil.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Very cool.
And there's Raph in his coat.
Yeah, even I like how they got his hands tucked in there when he was like, he's just walking on the street.
Yeah,
mind his own business.
I wonder if he comes with a newspaper. I'm still waiting for mine. So
very cool.
And then our buddy Rob McCallum and his friend Jay Bartlett need your help. So Action Figure Adventure. Oh, you probably couldn't see that. Here, let's try that again. So Action Figure Adventure, which Rob was kind enough to put me in, needs your help. So they want to do a season 2, but they want everybody to know, or the important people to know, that we all want a season 2. I want a season 2. I already checked out. So apparently on Netflix, they have this section on the website that you can actually suggest what you want to see.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. So just let Rob know on his Instagram, on his Facebook. Let the whole world know how much you want a season 2 of this wonderful show. If you love, I mean, there is so much toy information nowadays. It's incredible. You know, we have toy shows, great shows like Action Figure Adventure. We have books. You know, Pixel Dan's book is coming out soon. Now's the time. Let America know we want stuff like this, especially coming from Rob McCallum. I mean, the man's a genius.
He doesn't. Yeah, they don't cut corners.
They don't. I mean, they're fans, they're creators. You know, please support Action Figure Adventure, folks. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, Rob on his own YouTube channel, he has the Jane Rob Show. And all they do is talk toys. They talk about the show. You know, they have guests. You know, if you're inclined, check him out. Rob McCallum on YouTube.
I'll have to check that out. Nice.
Now, we're going to have a little piece of bad news. Mary Ann.
Gilligan's Island.
Gilligan's Island recently passed away from COVID.
All right. Now, she played Mary Ann through all the different variations of the show. Obviously, the Gilligan's Island, Rescue from Gilligan's Island, and Harlem Globetrotters meets Gilligan's Island. What I find interesting,
Planet, you said, right?
Yeah. So for Gilligan's Planet, which was a cartoon
from Filmation,
she obviously provided the voice of Mary Ann. However, she also provided the voice of Ginger, the movie star, which I found actually quite interesting. And the only, I hate this to sound morbid, but the only one left now is the actress who played Ginger. Yeah, I didn't expect to hear this, and it was like beginning of the year. I was like, wow.
Yeah, this came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And another one.
Same day, actually, we found this out about
right. Shabadoo.
I believe I believe he played. His character was called Ozone, I think.
Correct. Breaking 1 and 2.
Yeah, Electric Boogaloo. And he was pretty young. But you know, he died as well. I believe it was the same day. And it was weird because when I heard that, the first thing I thought of was the toys that the reaction figures Super 7 put out. So I remember them putting out the breaking figures. So I was like,
yeah, they had all 3 main characters.
Yeah. And I was never one for being to breakdancing, but it's the 80s, so of course you watched it. And
you don't bust a move.
I cannot. When I have cardboard, I built a house out of it or something. I never could do those moves. The robot, none of that.
Yeah, I mean, he was a great actor even after the breaking movies. He was still, he's very community oriented.
Nice.
I remember they did a documentary he was in about Canon Films, and he talked about how breaking united people and how dancing changed people's views on race and all that stuff. So sad to see him go.
Yeah, it's a shame.
So. Well, we're not leaving on a downbeat. So MeTV, if you're a fan of animation, MeTV actually it already started on January 1st. They moved it. Originally it was January 4th. They are having a block of animated shows starting at 7 a.m. on Saturdays, and will feature Bugs Bunny, Tom and Jerry, Popeye, Roadrunner, and Wile E. Coyote. And then on the actual Saturday, those shows you can see every morning at 7 a.m. all throughout the week. On Saturdays, you get a 3-hour block of Popeye and Friends, Tom and Jerry, and Bugs Bunny and Friends.
It's good that somebody's doing this, because I feel like these cartoons are almost lost to kids today.
Yeah, oh, totally.
Like, they're coming out with a Tom and Jerry movie. Do kids know who Tom and Jerry are? Or Popeye, or even Popeye?
Great point. Well, Popeye comes in and out.
Yeah.
Like, I know Jendy Tartakovsky's working on something.
Yeah.
With Popeye, so hopefully we'll see that.
And a new Space Jam for Bugs.
Right, exactly. But you see, folks, that's the power of, suggestion. You let all these, people for years have been hassling me TV to put on old stuff, old cartoons.
Yeah, because they usually play like
Right.
things.
They finally broke down, thank God. So I also want to give a shout out to hashtag collectors helping collectors. If you're inclined to beat scalpers and the bots, these are exactly what they are, collectors helping others. I recently got a whole bunch of toys from them. They're a great community. We're always helping each other out. I know I've sold some stuff on there and purchased stuff. So hashtag collectors helping collectors, if you're looking for stuff to buy. Sorry about that, folks. I was drying up a little. So I want to give a thank you to YouTube for, having us. I know, they really don't do anything. I just want to say thank you. Thank you to Scott Knightlick over at Spectre Creative. He hit 10,000 and he wants to get to 100,000. So
nice.
If you want a PhD in, toy knowledge, watch his videos. I mean, his vast experience and knowledge is, like you could literally, I should call him up because I've watched every video since number 1.
Wow.
I should call him up for my PhD in toyetics.
Nice.
Thank you to Brian Salvatore for our intro and outro music. And yeah, suffice it to say, we are now on YouTube. So please find us at Toylines Podcast. Please subscribe because we need at least 1,000 people subscribed so we can stay on the air or visually.
On the YouTube.
On the YouTube.
On the tube.
On the tube, okay.
Ring the bell, man.
Ring the bell.
It's like in gym class. You had to climb up the rope, hit the bell.
Yep. And subscribe, please.
Please.
Join the conversation at toyspodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on all the major podcast platforms, Podbeam, iHeart, Apple Podcast. Please subscribe, give us a rating, or do both. And if you're so inclined to do so, please enjoy our newest podcast hosted by Ian Westhoff, Rocketeer Radio.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you love jetpacks, folks, if you love men flying around with a helmet.
Bulldogs.
All
manly stuff.
Yes. What else can I say about this?
2 episodes out. It's going to be 1 per month. And we're going to focus on different themes from movie, comic, toys, just and everything in between. If there's something about the Rocketeer, I want to talk about it. So I hope you join.
Well, the last episode was pretty cool. We were talking about arch nemesis.
Yeah, we just kind of like it's kind of like sitting around the old Bulldog Cafe, drinking a Coke and just talking, waiting for Cliff to fly in. So it was pretty cool. It was it's nice to have a guest on. It's going to be mostly a solo show, which is very different from what I'm used to. But I thank everybody who's listened and is following on Instagram. Thank you for your support, and I hope I meet the expectations if you have any.
Follow us on www.toy-lines.com if you want to check out the toys we're talking about, if you're listening to this on podcast, or some toy reviews if you're interested. Mm-hmm. Follow us on social media at Twitter's at Toylines. Facebook, you can follow us at Toylines or Toy Shelf Magazine, and on Instagram at Toylines. So that about wraps it up for our first YouTube video / podcast. If you've been listening, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. If you're new, thank you. Tell a friend, click that subscribe button. Thank you so much. Hopefully we'll see you next week, unless YouTube deems me
kicks us off and they're like, what the hell are those two?
Right?
Get them off.
So,
but thank you.
Yep. I'm Tom Romero.
I'm Ian Westhoff.
Play with your toys, especially your vehicles. Get them moving. Play with your toys.